Hello everybody, my name is Zen and it is Thursday, March 1st, 2012, and you're watching GLHF episode number 2, where we get to play whatever game we want on Thursday of every week. So today we're looking at Dungeon Defenders. Obviously very clear in the middle of the screen with the giant sign here. This is, as you may or may not know, an indie game developed by Trendy Entertainment. They're based in Florida. They've done a really good job using the Unreal Engine to develop this action or third-person action RPG tower defense game, and it's a lot of genres into one, but it's really good. And I'll show you what it's all about in a second. We'll go into the game details and price points and what everything's available on for it, and just a ton of information on this game. But I just wanted to say that this is easily one of my favorite games ever, hands down, just hands down. Like, there's no argument there. I alone have over 100 hours played on this game, according to Steam. I know I have more because I've played the mobile versions for tons of hours as well. But this is a game that if you can get a few friends, just 3 other friends, and yourself to play, you can have hundreds of hours of fun. You can pretty much make a day disappear. You won't even know where the day went because you're having a lot of fun. And that's happened on several occasions with a couple people in the guild, and you could freely ask Coley. I mean, he's had the same experience. This is a really good game. So let's take a look at this stuff here. So the options menu on the game would look a little sparse as far as video goes, but that's because most of the options are done on a launcher as you launch the game, and that's just that's just the way it plays, but that's fine. So you have the play local, right? So that basically plays offline on your own computer, and that's cool and all. But then you have play online, and this is a really unique thing because you have 2 things here. You've got the open, where you can play on modded games or different types of maps that people have made, because there is a complete mod editor for this, which is really cool. They released that themselves, so you can download that and have a lot of fun creating your own stuff. And then they have ranked. Now ranked basically allows you not to cheat, is really all it is. I mean, it's not like you're playing against a ton of other people and you're competing. It's not like the StarCraft rank ladder, that's not what it is. It just makes it so that there's no mods allowed and stuff, and the reason why is because maybe you can mod your character to be super powerful and get scores that are outrageous. There is PvP in this game, but as you see here, we can go to this screen where we go to the ranked, and it gives us a ton of news, which is always really good. I'm glad they do that, keep you up to date. So as I was saying, there is PvP, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's the main meat of the game, and I'll show you what I mean. So you have quite a few different heroes. The 4 ones that are released at the game are the Huntress, the Apprentice, the Squire, and the Monk. As you see here, I've got 3 level 70s to level 24. I actually never really played my Knight who says knee. He just happens to be that level because, well, I had Holy and a couple other guildies playing with me, and they just sat and did a level, and I was AFK the entire time, and I got level 24 from that, and it was really fun. But I'll show you the kind of things you could do. So, by the way, the game has really good voice acting for what's there. So you have the Apprentice, the Squire, like I said, the Huntress, the Monk, and there's a new class that just came out, DLC, the Barbarian. I don't have it yet. I haven't bothered. But there's also another pack that gives you different versions of the other champions or other heroes or whatever you want to call them, like the Countess, the Ranger, the Initiate, and the Adept. So basically it's the exact same as the first 4, except they've got slightly different stuff they can do, and they're like a younger version. And then there's like random things that they're alluding to there. So those are the different things you can make. Let's start by going to my Apprentice, and we can edit him. Now, I have, let's go down here. They have different costumes and stuff that you can get through the different DLC by unlocking them, like the vampire stuff. I never did the Thanksgiving stuff, or else I'd have this, or the Christmas stuff, or else I have that. But there's also President's Day unlocks and all that just came out, and that's a little Washington guy's pretty funny. So let's just go to. Let's just do the. Let's do the mummy. I like the mummy. Yeah, you guys like the mummy? Let's go with the mummy. Let's see what kind of colors. You could completely customize your colors. You could change the name of your character and a ton of other stuff, which I think is all quite cool. Let's just go with the default. Okay, next. There's also one thing I wanted to show. I think it's the monk with the President's Day DLC, which is really funny, I find, if it's here. There we go, President Obama. Hilarious, I think, that you can run around as President Obama in this game. That's enough right there to buy it, I think. Okay, so let's go on to my level 70 apprentice and go to start. And I'm just going to go private match, and basically what this is going to do, this is basically going to take me into like my own area. Okay, as you see here, it's taken me into my own little like home, and it's got all these challenges and missions. We'll get there in a second. So, as I said, the game is third person, so you run around like so. The game looks really good, don't you think? I mean, developed by an indie studio, this game looks beautiful. So this is a little tavern you come into, and the tavern is where you kind of lock and load. You can trade items with your buddies. There's also a little forge to edit your champion or your hero or whatever you want to call it. You can get from your mission or get to your missions from here, which is quite cool. And then they also have, where are they? Trophies. There you go. From all your achievements sitting out, which is quite cool because when you invite friends to the game, they all come into your tavern and it shows you, or it shows them, your achievements, which obviously is really super sweet. So really cool. And then there's a secret room in here, if none of you have ever seen this. Basically it's a ton of like Easter egg stuff. And there's the creeper television where you can watch your friends when they're walking around. So this is the tavern. As I said, you can come down to the shop here, which is very important, which is why I'm talking about the tavern. And as you kill things in the game and as you do missions and stuff, you get mana. And mana is your basic money, I guess you could say. Now right here you see I have 147,000 mana. So if I go to my hero and I go to just some random item, let's do something that's not very high ranked. There we go. Now I can invest 2,754 mana into it. So check this out. So I can invest that, and now I can upgrade specific stats on this piece of gear. And because this is my my tower character that uses a lot of defenses, I'm going to do the defense-based damage bonus. Okay, so you can use your mana to upgrade items, and when you upgrade an item to full, you can name it. Like I named this Xenocalypse, which is a really good staff, really great staff actually. And you can also buy different items from the tavern guy with your mana, like weapons, armor, and you can also get pets, and pets help you out in various ways. You don't really need to know a whole lot about them other than that they're pets. I mean, they're what you would expect. And on all of these items you would see, this is a perfect example, on this item right here you see that there's a green thumbs up, which means it's technically a direct upgrade to what I'm currently using. On this one there's a red thumbs down, which means it's a downgrade, and then this one means it's a side grade. So it's a good way of seeing which items are better and which aren't. I can also quickly switch between all my heroes or go to an item box that has all of these items that I picked up in the game. I've got pre-order items here. They've added new things on the left-hand side there that I haven't seen in a while because I haven't played this game in like 2 months. And you can also sell things from here, and it's quite cool. So this is the shop. This is something you'll need to know. I'll talk more about this in a second, but let's actually get into a game. I feel like that is something very worthwhile to do. So you have a basic campaign that the game comes with, and there's a lot of challenge levels and stuff that you can get as well. So these are all the challenges. Now the campaign missions are quite long, and there's also bonus missions, and then there's another DLC. I think in total there's 13 pieces of DLC for this entire game. I only have a handful of them, but the best part about the DLC in this game, so you don't get like overwhelmed here, is that they release most of them, not all of them, most of them free for the first couple days, and you can just download them, and then about a week or two after that, they go where you have to buy them. So it's really cool that a lot of people who just own the game already can get a ton of DLC for free without really having to go through much effort. So let's just go to, I think the second level is a good example. So let's turn hardcore mode off, and let's put this on medium so I can talk and do it at the same time. So let's go into the level. Cool little intro, shows you a little bit of the level. Now, as I said, this is a tower defense game, right? So it's starting me on wave 2. You'll see around the map are these chests which give you mana to start out with. Now, mana is what you use to build your basic defenses. Pretty easy to think about. That would be the M button that drops all my mana. I'll come back to that in a second because it's not letting me pick it back up yet. Okay, come back over here. Oop, that was the console. Yeah, basically you're... Dang it! Hold on. Oh, there we go. So basically your crystal in the middle, mine happens to be like this thing that I got from... You could change the look of your crystal and the color and of it, but this is the crystal I got for defeating the game on Insane on the last level, so I'm quite proud of that one. And pick up the rest of the mana. If you're on anything but medium and easy, I think there's a countdown between waves, so it does put a little bit of pressure on. So the reason I'm playing on medium, I could easily probably play on something more difficult as single player, but in order to be able to do commentary and show you guys what's what, I wanted to have some time here. So there's, on the left-hand side, on the bottom, I can't really point at it, but you'll see that there's, well, maybe I can. No. It won't let me. There's these 6 through 0. Now those are all towers. The first one's like a magic missile tower, right? And when you put it down, like you've got a radius of where you can put it down of where you're at, but then you can place it, and it will give you an idea of where you can actually like face it and which direction it's going to be shooting. Oops. Is there any way I can actually not place that down? Yes, there is. Perfect. There's also whoops, wrong button. There's also barriers that the apprentice has. The apprentice has fire towers and a lightning tower and a deadly strike tower, which is just amazing because it shoots through walls and it's got a really long range. But I won't get too much into this. So let's put a couple towers down, right? That's so much talking, I know, but there's a lot to explain about a game that's pretty unique. So a couple towers down on each of the sides here to defend my crystal. And let me show you the map real quick. So on the map, you see where I'm at, obviously, the big blinking cursor of doom. But on the left-hand side here, you see that there's these 2 red circles, and then there's the little enemy thing. And you can see here, this is pretty much saying what enemies are going to spawn from this area, so you can prepare for that. So goblins and archers. And on the little red circles, and you can see them clear here too, the enemies are immune to damage while they're in this circle, so that way you can't just stack up a ton of defenses around the doors, which is a wise idea. The only problem with that is sometimes on different levels, the archers will stand in here and shoot at you if you're running around. So you can see clearly on 3 sides here, there's the enemies, and then there's another one up on the opposite side. So there's 3 ways to come out for the enemies, and then there's 4 different ways to actually get up to where I'm at. So that's why I'm defending from this 3-pronged area. Now you can also come over to the forge, and you can swap out your other heroes, and this is really cool. So say I wanted to go to my monk. Swap. Now my monk is more, I built my monk more for damage, for like direct doing damage, right? And I also built it for its ability to use the defenses it has. So let me quickly go back, because I forgot to drop my mana. And then swap back to this, to my monk. Whoops, that was my Huntress, who just picked up all my mana. I'm really good at this, can't you tell? Drop. Thank you. E, swap hero, monk. Now, each of the different heroes have different abilities. So obviously the apprentice has like these towers and basic tower defense abilities, right? But the monk is more supportive. So the monk has these auras, right? So like an ensnare aura. So it slows everything within the radius of where they're coming through. So I'm going to put it right here. And you'll see why in a minute, why I put it there. But I'm going to put another one over here. And it'll just slow them. And these are really big auras. And they're really powerful because of the points that I've spent into it. You level up and stuff. And oop, that was the wrong button. How do I get to my character screen? There we go. You can see the points that I've spent into all these, and then I put a ton of points into health for my defenses and into damage and whatnot, range, and there's a ton of points you can put into. So let's finally get a wave done. Let's go back to the apprentice. I'll show you all of them, but so the apprentice is really focused around having these staves. The staff I have is really powerful, and it shoots all these different projectiles. You won't always get a weapon that shoots a ton, but having multiple projectiles helps for things like this, where I can like do multiple damage to different guys. Right, so you have the option of defending on your own, right? So like I can defend by just killing them, but just doing damage with my heroes. That gets a little bit more difficult later on as you have more and more enemies pouring in. Like the later levels have like hundreds of thousands of enemies on higher difficulties. It's crazy. So you see them going into the ensnare aura, and they go super slow, right? And then you can see my tower just owning them. Because my tower is really powerful. And that guy, there he goes. He's finally dead. And then the second wave should be coming if it isn't already. There we go. So you see up on the top right corner, I have 10 of 18. 12 of 18, so there's 18 total enemies on this wave, and I've killed 12 of them. So, pretty simple. And then it also, up in the top right corner, shows the wave I'm on, which is 2 of 6, and defensive units. Defensive units, basically each of the types of defenses you put down, turrets and auras and blockades and stuff, they all take up a certain amount of defensive units, so you can only have a certain amount of defenses down. So on the higher levels of difficulty, it does require you to actually use your heroes, like I'm doing, to kill the enemies. And especially when you get higher difficulties, it actually helps to have more people. Sometimes. Other times it helps to have less because it spawns less enemies. But it does help to have more people because you can cover more bases. So that was a pretty simple demonstration of the wave system. So I'm gonna come over here, get my mana. Item just dropped. I'm just gonna put this in my box, and I can sell that later and get more mana out of it and buy items. The mana that you take out of a mission like this, unless you store it in your box, it's not gonna really come with you, if that makes sense. Like the mana that I currently have in the bottom left, it says 176 out of 1,420. So if I stored the 216 or whatever right now and not use it, when I get out of the mission, it would be in my pool of mana that I have. But if I used it all right now, typically only a percentage of that would come back because it removes some of the mana that you put into all your defenses and gives it to you at the end as a bonus. There's a lot there for that. You don't really need to know all that. So let me switch to the monk again. Whoops, that was the wrong one. Close that. No, that was the right one. It's been a while. Can you guys tell? Can you guys tell? At least you get to see this game in depth. So if you were ever wondering if you should get this game, now you get a pretty good idea. So I'm going to put a snare aura down here, and then I'm going to put an electrifying aura. Now this is an aura that does damage over time to all enemies that pass within it, and it's really great. It's a really good aura to have. It could do quite a bit of damage to higher level bosses and stuff as well. So Now, as enemies pass through these auras, they lose health. The auras do. So you do have to repair the auras, or else you'll lose them, and that's never a good thing, because say I wanted to... how do I... eat... Where's the button for it? Oop, oop, close. Close. No. Oh, no, I don't want to. Thank you. I don't have the mana for it, but if you see on 5, it'll upgrade an defensive piece there, so... Actually, well, I was going to switch back to the apprentice, but I'll show you the knight, or the squire. So this is the Death Knight armor. Don't worry about it. It's part of the Halloween stuff. So now the squire has some pretty unique stuff as well. They're really good at putting down these. Obviously, are giant blockades that have spikes, and when people attack them, that does damage to them, which is great. The squire also has like harpoons that they use, or trebuchets, or something of the sort, like a long-range damaging unit. They also have bouncer blockades, which are good. Bounces enemies back, so you can like bounce them into lava and stuff. That's always great. And they also have these cannonball things that do pretty much the exact same thing. It just knocks them back. So each of the different heroes also have actual abilities. Now, I'll show you that more when I get back on the monk on the next wave, because you'll be able to clearly see the ability. The squires is decent, I feel. I think your actual usable abilities could be a bit better. But you have some charge up abilities, like this guy has a block, right? So if the squire has a block and a melee attack, as you see what I'm doing now, and I can block him if I wanted to. Now the apprentice has a charged up AoE attack as its right click. So right click for this is block, left click is to attack. The monk has a left click melee attack and a right click ranged attack, so it's the only one with both a melee and a ranged. As far as I know, of the original champions and heroes, I haven't checked out the other ones, so I don't know. The ranger has a reload mechanic, which is what their right click is. So they have ammo and everything on their character. So I'm just gonna leave that blockade there. I don't really need that. So I'm gonna go to. Oops, I forgot to drop my mana again. I always do this. You should see me when I'm playing with other people. It's so frustrating. Like, oh, Zen's derping around at the forge again. Sorry, guys. I apologize. So let me switch to my apprentice. And I'm going to throw down a couple of really good towers here, just to make sure that I can actually pass this level. Yeah, good old fireball towers. And then I'm going to switch back over to the monk. Okay, now let's start this wave. I'm going to go pick up some chests that are sitting around that I have not picked up yet. Now, I put a lot of points into movement speed for the monk, because the monk for me has been a support character, which means I basically will run around, repair things, because I got really quick cast times, and throw down different auras when I'm playing with other people. So I help out where needed, really. So now, this is my ranged attack. As you can see, I have multiple projectiles on the ranged attack for this as well. Right, quite good. I'm doing quite a bit of damage. I'm really high level compared to what I should be at this, so keep that in mind. It isn't this easy. It actually is quite difficult all the way through if you're playing on the appropriate difficulty settings. And I'm just collecting a ton of mana. I can hold quite a bit. At lower levels, you can't hold like as much. I think you could hold like 50, I think, to begin with. It's either 50 or 80. It's pretty low. So as you level up to 70, you get a huge amount of storage for your stuff there. So now I'm going to upgrade one of these auras here. Upgrading the... Oops, that would be repair, I think. Yes, I hit the wrong button again because I suck at life. So that was 6. 5. There we go. So I'm going to upgrade the electric aura and you'll see there it's got like that little promotion thing. You can upgrade the things I think 5 times, and progressively it costs more and more to upgrade the stuff that you have already upgraded, and it could get quite expensive. So when you're lower level, you can't upgrade everything to the highest level because you just don't have the mana capacity to do that. So let's upgrade another one of these. Sweet, I'll even upgrade a slowing aura, and as you can tell, it's basically a tower defense game. At the core, that's the core gameplay, is tower defense. But there's all this other added stuff for the third-person aspect of it. So like there's there's different items you get which increase the amount of damage you do or increases the utility of your different characters. So there's a lot to this game just at the surface, which is why it's taking me so long just to explain it, because it is also a game that or a genre that hasn't really been done a whole lot, which is third-person action RPG tower defense games. I would say, that's a sapper. Sappers basically will run and blow up. Really bad for your defenses. But I would say Dungeon Defenders either has pretty much innovated this genre completely or dominated it. I mean, there's not really any other games that come to mind about this whole thing. Clean up these guys. It's really not a whole lot more to say about the game. Obviously, you guys are seeing the basics of it. I would show you much more advanced features, but that would take a lot of time. Just upgrading my auras to do more damage. I've got more than half of the wave still left, but my auras will clean them up pretty quickly. Now, I could throw down, obviously, if you look at the defensive units, I could throw down a ton more defenses. I just don't really need them at this level, to be honest. If I was on one of the higher levels, not just difficulties, I would definitely need it, because they come from all sorts of different directions and whatnot. And just pick up all the items. At the end of a wave, if you haven't picked up all the items or the mana, it'll just automatically be banked. Just FYI. So you don't have to worry about always going and picking up the mana. Like right now, I probably don't even need to be picking up any items or mana if I don't want to. But the other thing is, if you're playing with other people, it is beneficial to go and pick up all the items, because you can do what I did, which is really mean, but we all did it to each other, which is you just try to steal as many of the items as possible. And we all did a degree of that. And at the higher levels, like the very last level on Insane, you get so many items. I think there was quite a few times where my inventory was just so full that I had to go back and get rid of crap. So it was crazy. Can't upgrade yet because I need just slightly more mana. Will I get it? There we go, 200. I think it's 100, 200, 400, 800, 1200. I think that's how it works. As far as the cost of... So this is the last wave of the cost of the upgrades. So perfect. Now, as far as conclusions go on this game, I would say it's easily, as I said at the beginning, one of my favorite games ever. It's not a game I would play alone. Like this is really rare for me to hop in by myself and play this. Just FYI, it's not a game that I would enjoy it, and I do on the mobile platforms every now and then when I'm like really bored, waiting for like a movie in the movie theater to come on or anything. I'd hop on Dungeon Defenders and almost fell in the lava there. And play a round or two, and that's fine. But I would say the core of this game was designed for multiplayer, so if you're going to pick it up, I would say try to get a couple of your buddies to pick it up as well. Supporting the studio, obviously it's an indie studio, so supporting them will help to get more DLC out, which is always good, and help to possibly get like a Dungeon Defenders 2, which would be great. Now, as far as the origins of this game go, it didn't actually start on PC, if I recall correctly. It started on the Xbox Marketplace, maybe even mobile. So it started there. You can still pick it up on mobile. It originally came out on the mobile platforms as Dungeon Defender's First Wave. They now have a Dungeon Defender's Second Wave. So you can go get that on the iOS platforms and the Android. I think the Android version is completely free right now, last I looked, and the iOS version is only $3. If you have First Wave, you can upgrade to Second Wave. I'm pretty sure it's just free. I don't think I had to pay to upgrade to Second Wave. I think it was just an automatic update for the iOS version. I have it on the iPad. And it does run really well on the mobile platforms. It still looks really good too. There's still multiplayer aspects on the mobile. And for the most part, I would say it's pretty much the same game. There are differences. There aren't like the full like random modding scenes and stuff that you get on the PC version. The PC version is far superior, but if you wanted a Dungeon Defender's fix, go pick up the mobile version. Okay, so this is an ogre. Obviously it's got a ton of HP. It's more like a boss. That's fine. Usually it would be a huge threat to me, but it really isn't at this point. I could go to the map and I can see the state of my defenses. As you can tell, they're all holding, and tons of enemies are coming, but they're not going to get through. Now, the game on the PC you can pick up on Steam for $15, which is super cheap for a full game. I mean, it took me forever to actually beat this game because it is, like I said, really difficult. And if you're playing with your buddies, you'll get to the point where you just need more levels and more items, so you'll have to farm a couple levels. But that's fun because that's fine because it's super fun. You'll probably won't really get into too many binds where you feel like you're having to grind and there's no possible hope to complete a mission, because you always know that there's items just around the corner, which is really good. So I finished the mission, level victory, as you can see, and there's just all this mana laying around. Now I could just go over here and it would just put all this crap in my bank, so I'm just gonna, I don't want to go to the next level, but that's what it's gonna take me to, and then I'm gonna go back to my tavern. As you can see, go there. I'm pretty sure I could just exit the tavern from here. Now, you can, like I said, you can pick this up on Steam, but you can also pick it up on Impulse, which is, I think that's the GameStop one. I don't support GameStop really because they've done some pretty sleazy crap in the past, so that's just my personal thing. It's cool if you guys want to buy from GameStop. I don't really like it. It's also on Gamersgate and Direct to Drive, which I think is now GameFly anyways. That's all $15 for the full game. The DLC isn't all that expensive. It's like a couple bucks for some of the major ones, and then a lot of them are free. It's on the Xbox Marketplace for 1,200 points and the PSN for $15 as well. You can pick up a 4-pack of the game, so if you and your 3 other buddies can play it. You can pick up a 4-pack for $45. So there is some savings there, which is always really good. This game is always going on sale on Steam, so if you want, if it's too expensive for you, I'd say wait. Wait for it to go on sale, because it's always going to go on sale. And there's a spring sale coming up soon anyway, so you might as well wait. And I'm pretty sure it'll come out there. And like I said, this game features a full multiplayer mode. It's the full game as multiplayer co-op, and it's really great. There's PvP multiplayer, like capture the flag and stuff. That's really great. There's a full modding scene. It's totally worth it. It's one of those games that I just have to suggest to you guys. If you haven't played Dungeon Defenders, try it out. There's plenty of demos available on all these different platforms that you can get. It's really great. And if you're just looking for something as a small fix, pick it up on mobile, because it's also really great on the mobile platforms. So this has been Zen. This has been GLHF episode number 2, and we will be back next week with episode 3 with another completely different random game. I think I'm going to go old school on the next episode. We'll see, though. It depends on what I've been playing. And expect that next Thursday, as we do every Thursday with GLHF. And I will see you guys next time.